The Star Wars Legacy comics were a Star Wars Legends expanded universe material created by Dark Horse Comic as part of a new plan to go ahead. It's set more than 100 years, a little over 125 years, I believe, after the events of the fall of the Empire. So to speak, if I was to guess, it would be at best that the last novel is any indication. It's set in 130 ABY, and this is a 50-issue series. So, yeah. But, the question is, what led to this big build-up to lead to this new creation? Well, allow me to give you some backstory on this. From the Wikipedia side of Star Wars Wiki. In the 1990s, Dark Horse Comics produced a number of stories set after Return of the Jedi, notably Dark Empire, the X-Wing series, and Star Wars Union. However, from 1998 to 2005, its flagship series were Republic and Empire, and stories set in either the New Republic era or the New Jedi Order era were rare, appearing only as short stories in the Tales series. When it began, the closest Star Wars comic to Legacy in the timeline was Equals and Opposites, set more than 100 years before the beginning of Legacy. Following this, and realizing that with the novels focusing on the future of the direction of Star Wars with Luke, Leia, and Han, they had to shake things up, and they already had the Old Republic era being fleshed out, especially by BioWare. So they had to feel like, we gotta shake things up. So it was proposed for a legacy storyline set a little over 100 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and also be part of this expanded universe. So when this announcement was made, fans were either excited for the prospect, or it would be uncharted territory, and some were very mixed and vocal about it. Like I'm saying, fans were excited, some were, while some were worried about how there were going to be stereotypical characters and plot lines, and that the series would destroy the Del Rey's continuity while also inhibiting future novel storylines. However, the writers and creators of the Star Wars Legends Legacy era had gone on the popular Star Wars forums, answering fan questions and attempting to assure their fears and concerns. So, at least these guys were trying to appease fans, like, okay, we get it, you're worried, but we're going to treat this with respect, we're going to do it, we're going to try our damnedest to make this work. Because at the time, Legacy of the Force was just starting out, and they already had a big moment with Darth Caedus, Mara Jade's death, and all that stuff going to happen. So they had to figure out how can we tell the story while still trying to keep in continuity with books that haven't come out yet. And then you had to account for all the future Star Wars stories that was going to come out, such as Fate of the Jedi and Crucible and so forth. So this was a little hectic to do. However, I was honestly interested when I had first heard of this, because the idea of in fact, here's the thing. During the making of The Force Unleashed, it was revealed that one of the initial ideas for the video game had been a game set 500 years in the future where the player is the last Skywalker. And that is very similar to what eventually became Legacy, though it is doubtful that this is anything more than a coincidence, though, considering even though it's still debate about whether or not George Lucas cared about Star Wars expanded universe material. I like to say he did. I don't know if he really was his canon was 6 movies and anything he creates, but he understood fans respecting canon, so he wanted to try their damnedest to give them the best story universe as possible. That's at least my theory. So, this led to the creation of the Legacy era, and like I said, this is set 100 or so years after Return of the Jedi, which means we don't have Han, we don't have Luke, we don't have Leia. All these plot lines are just now left open to interpretation, especially after Disney took over and shut everything down. But the idea of this is to start fresh, try to do new things, try to connect with the old timeline, And yeah, have you noticed something very familiar about this? A new generation of characters set in a way later future, and all the main cast members and all the trio that we've grown up with are all dead at this point. Yeah, this isn't definitely the basis of the new Disney canon, except there's just one problem. The new generation is working with the old generation, albeit in a we gotta make the characters miserable as all can be. So, yeah, in the expanded universe, George Lucas had put out an edict which does show he had some say in this, such as Wookiees can't be Jedi unless I have a say-so in this. So he stopped after Lobaka. There was barely any Wookiee Jedi, and in fact, that scrap plans to get one of the Wookiees in Knights of the Old Republic 2 to become a Sith Dark Jedi, which scrapped that plan. And the only other Wookiee Jedi we got was Star Wars: The Clone Wars in that one series arc regarding the young Jedi students, the younglings. Yeah. So, anyways, with this was set. Okay, so let's go into what the setting basically is. It's just a little over 100 years or so after the end of the Yuuzhan Vong War. The Jedi Order has allowed the Shaper caste of the displaced Yuuzhan Vong to terraform a desolate portion of the planet Ossus. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pronounce a lot of things wrong. Hoping to restore the barren world to life and redeem the invaders to the galaxy at large. Known as the Ossus Project, it was championed by Cade Skywalker, one of the leading members of the Jedi Council and descendant of Luke, which means Ben Skywalker probably got together with that Sith lady, but we'll always never know about that, especially now. Since the defeat of the Yuuzhan Vong, the Imperial remnant has been built up its resources and forged itself into a more benevolent Fel Empire with a more benign emperor. The third of the Fel dynasty, Ron Fel, on the throne. Yeah, here's the thing about Ron Fel. He has the Force, and it was confirmed he is a descendant of Jared Fel. Except they never seem to have said if he's the descendant of Jaina Solo. So really, yeah, and I think some people have a hard time buying that Jared Fel would reform an empire that, yes, while it's more benevolent, it's also the empire, and Jaina Solo has fought against empires. So really give it what you take for that. Anyways, the success of this big project inspired other planets to vie for the opportunity to be terraformed and fixed, and the results were briefly a success. Before everything went to hell and began to devastate ecosystems, cause painful bony growths to sprout from the inhabitant's skin. And the galaxy, because of their past with the Yuuzhan Vong, said, "You did this." However, the Jedi suspected sabotage to convince the Galactic Alliance to side with them. However, the Moffs, Grand Moff Tarkin, everybody, it seems his legacy still lives on, declared war on the Galactic Alliance after invoking a treaty that was made. Those responsible for the sabotage were, in fact, a new Sith Order, which had been secretly building up its strength on the planet Korriban for over 100 years. The 2 years into what will become as the Sith Imperial War, the Sith and their leader, Darth Krayt, would reveal themselves to the galaxy and join the war on the Empire side. After 3 years of bloody fighting, the Galactic Alliance was forced to surrender and eventually absorbed into the new Empire. A remnant fleet, however, broke away under the leadership of Admiral Garza Staz. The Jedi Order retreated to Ossus, only to be followed by the Sith. And that's basically where issue 1 takes up. So, I had bought this Marvel Epic Collection of Star Wars Legacy Volume 1, so I'm gonna try my damnedest to go over the first 19 issues of this. And considering how it almost was an hour when I talked about the first 5 issues of Doomsday Clock from DC, and we're only at the halfway point of that, closely, yeah. And like I said, the Jedi Order is now facing another purge, the third Jedi Purge. And that's exactly what's going on. The Empire is now hunting down the Jedi again, so yeah, congratulations, that's going to end well. And well, the Empire had basically killed Cade Skywalker and a number of other masters. Cade Skywalker, however, is one of the survivors, and in his grief and anger, he inadvertently found a way to save people from death. Yeah, something Anakin a bit wished he had. But it's revealed that he's falling more into the dark side and seems to want to die. Yeah, basically he's really Anakin's descendant. Because Vader wanted nothing more than to die. A lot. Really, 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 really a lot. So anyways, following this and their escape, and presumably Cade Skywalker is killed. By the way, I'm going to keep flipping through the pages on this, so if you notice any delays in this video, that's probably why, because I'm using this as a guide to help me refresh in case I forget certain plot points. But the idea here is that Darth Krayt afterwards kills Ron Fell, but it is revealed to be a duplicate, because a double to go ahead and hide the true Emperor, because, well, yeah, Ron Fell is suspected this treachery. Darth Krayt is understandably pissed off to the extreme. And yeah, however, Darth Krayt is also mighty, mighty, mighty pissed off as well, because he told them that, see, you should have anticipated this. And so I was like, wow, Sith actually getting stuff done and actually winning again. Palpatine must be happy, to an extent. And yeah, Darth Krayt is the now declaring himself the new emperor and swears loyalty from the Moths and from other people, and he proceeds to beat the crap out of one of his loyal one Sith soldiers. Yeah, this new Sith order is called One Sith. Basically, the idea is sort of a mixture of the Brotherhood of Darkness and mixing the rule of two, where he believes that there's only one Supreme Sith, or everyone's equal or something like that. But yeah. But the idea of Darth Krayt is, yeah, the thing about Darth Krayt, the armor he's wearing while looking badass is also revealed later on to be consuming him. You see, it's a Yuuzhan Vong based thing, and we get a backstory about him later. I'll get over to that soon. But Cade Skywalker, he had faked his death and tried to pretty much hide from the galaxy as Cade Skywalker, just calling himself Cad, and decides to basically become a bounty hunter and pirate. And he has actually a crew now. Let's see. We have Jahasin and De La Blue, who would later become his love interest in every single way possible. And yeah. Anyways, they are piloting a ship and whatnot called the Bannock. I could be pronouncing that wrong. So anyways, yeah. As this continues, the galaxy's been subjugated for 7 years under the reign of the Sith Empire, led by Darth Krayt of One Sith. And yeah, things are not looking well. And we also get a couple of side plots going on in these first 19 issues. Specifically, we get these Stormtroopers that call themselves noobs. So yeah, we're borrowing video game elements, calling people now that. And here's the thing I noticed. It's yeah, a lot of the characters seem to be very familiar with Finn when he was out on the battlefield and whatnot. Yeah, it just seemed really, really coincidental how one character seems to act like Finn and while is loyal to the Empire, so to speak, he does feel like there has to be a way to fix this without going to hell. Heck, he even shoots one of the Sith down and kills him when he's trying to kill one of his fellow troopers. So yeah, that ends well. Along with that, yeah, as that's going on, yeah, things start to get weirdly crazy, as in Cade Skywalker has a drug problem. He is consuming death sticks a lot. He's basically saying, I want to die, I want to cut my connection from the Force, which is next to impossible, because the Force, one way or another, is going to keep coming, no matter how hard he tries. Because he doesn't want to embrace the Skywalker heritage, and I can understand that. Like, you're part of a big family dynasty, and basically you have all this responsibilities being thrown over your head, and now you have a way to get out of it. You chose to get out of it, and while that's the wrong thing to do, I understand why he just feels like a lot of this kind of sucks for him. Yeah, Cade Skywalker is kind of like Luke from The Last Jedi as well, if you think about it, except Luke did not take drugs. He drank milk from a alien, which I'm not going to even get into. He avoided a responsibility, and he decided to be passive instead of active. Cade Skywalker, however, is just, I don't really care. I want to stay out of this. I don't want to be a Jedi. I'm done. I want to be done with this. But, that's not how that works. One way or another, a Skywalker, be it even in the face of exile, is gonna get involved one way or another. And there's a lot of Easter eggs if you think about when you look through the massive universe that Star Wars has. But we also get the thing called the Imperial Knight, which basically are Force users who have lightsabers, but they're pure white, which is awesome. And they're basically like the equivalent of a Jedi and Sith, but their mission is to be basically an advanced version of those guards, of the red-hooded guards from Return of the Jedi, who basically did nothing. In the new canon, they still did nothing but sucked. Now, seriously, how did the Stormtroopers miss point-blank range? Point-blank range? He wasn't even moving. Oh god, I can't go into that ever again. And then we're introduced to, quite honestly, what many people consider to be the famous character from this comic series, Darth Talon. Yeah, the Red Twi'lek who was raised as a Sith. There's a reason why I say she's very famous, especially to certain people in Lucasfilms. You see, Darth Talon is very liked by George Lucas. You see, there were several occasions where it looked like George Lucas wanted to do something with her in a future project. The most famous one of them all is a Darth Maul game that sets Darth Maul, or a clone, or a son, or a descendant of him, far into the future, and basically works together with Darth Talon. It was supposed to be a reverse version of The Force Unleashed, a tale of a Sith apprentice becoming a Jedi hero, but instead it was going to be a Sith straight up with Darth Maul kicking ass and taking names, or at least a descendant of him. Or they could just use carbonite freezing process. They could have went with that. But, yeah, Darth Talon, they kept trying to find a way to put Darth Maul to team up with Darth Talon, and yeah, that sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it? And, here's the kicker. After Disney bought Lucasfilms, and all the reboot happened, there was concept art that came out that showed Darth Talon, which seemed to hint that J.J. Abrams wanted to use her for The Force Awakens, but Disney just came in, wagged their finger, and said, yeah, fuck you, J.J. Abrams. We don't want Legends characters unless we twist them around into our image of Disney of idiocy. Because that's how villains operate, right? They have to be morons. So, anyway. And we also get a drug-induced hallucination of Mara Jade, which I'm realizing now that we never see her spirit. Yeah. Like, I don't seem to recall a storyline that had Mara Jade's Force Ghost pop up, so they never explained that part. But, Cade Skywalker, he is basically on this tale of redemption, and basically to choose whether he wants redemption or damnation. Because, remember, the Skywalker solo family has walked among the darkness and the light. They have had no equal. They all feared them. Yes, I'm quoting Bray Wyatt, sue me. Anyways, and in his continued drug-induced state of trying to kill himself, yeah, we get Mara Jade's drug-induced hallucination, and yeah, that's not going to end well. He even gets a visit from Darth Vader. And once more, I'm just wondering, I know Darth Vader was a big deal, especially to Anakin Solo, but yeah, they don't seem to mention him that much, except Anakin's old name. And then, during this event where we see Cade Skywalker trying to go ahead and after... Oh, by the way, there is a character from Clone Wars. Okay, you remember that one in the Volume 1 finale where Grievous struck down one of these Jedis? Yeah, he's still alive and is in this. He lives even past he lived past the old Jedi Order's fall and made it all the way up to the end of the new Jedi Order, to the early stages of the Third Jedi Purge. Yeah, I was like, okay, why is he here? Like, you mean to tell me he's been alive for over God knows how many centuries, and he made it up to this point? That's gotta be amazing. And I know some people might say, if they didn't know this, well, why isn't Ahsoka here? She's tied with the daughter or something like that. Yeah, Ahsoka wasn't created at this point. So, yeah, they didn't have an Ahsoka Tano to do something like this. So, take what you can with that. Now they have a chance to do that in the new canon, but Disney's probably vindictive on that. Anyways, yeah, but Darth Talon, yeah, back to her. She is very, very badass and does anything Darth Krayt says. In fact, when I was looking at the images of everything of her, I was thinking like, wait, so is she his love interest or something? Are they dating? Because out of everyone I've seen, for some reason, yeah, I always see them together more so than any character. Normally, if it's not her, it's just usually a group of Sith warriors with her, but yeah. Also, Darth Krayt's armor is consuming him, but, however, he tries to get help from the holocrons of the Sith, such as Darth Nihilus, Darth Bane, and I think there was another one. Yeah, I don't remember, but like, they just said, no, we're not helping you. You violated the rule of two. There's only supposed to be two Sith. One who is supreme and the one who craves it. And thus, they refuse to do that. And thus, they believe Darth Krayt is a pretender. Yeah, when I mentioned that later on is revealed that one of the Sith Lords actually, taught him this stuff. So, yeah. Now, a lot of questions were wondering who Darth Krayt is. There was a lot of hype on that. Eventually, when Cade Skywalker is captured by the one Sith, when he goes to rescue his crewmates, and who are really his friends, and one is a love interest, it's revealed who this is. Darth Krayt is known as Ashad Het. Now, who's Ashad Het, you might ask, for those who don't know? Well, he's a Jedi from the Clone Wars era, which was over 100 years ago. Yeah, Darth Krayt is a Jedi from the Old Order. So nice to know the Jedi Order's problems still linger now into the future. Congrats, Yoda! You and the Council are a bunch of idiots. Bye, kid. I don't really blame the Council on this occasion. No, I just blame Obi-Wan. Because we go into his backstory when he's explaining it to Cade Skywalker as a way to show that, see, we can bond. You can trust me. He's basically trying to be Palpatine, but we all know that's not going to work. Not this time, at least. So, yeah. Darth Krayt goes on to explain that after the fall of the Jedi Order, he decided, you know what, I'm just going back to the Tusken Raiders, because he is a Tusken, his father was a Tusken Raider. And then he was about to invade the home of Owens and of the Lars family, which had baby Luke, and Obi-Wan put a stop to that, disgrace a Shedhead, and instead of killing him, he instead says lets him go and whatnot. And I'm thinking like, congrats. You are an idiot, Obi-Wan. Okay, there's a problem I had with that. It's like, okay, Obi-Wan, you and Yoda cooked up this plan to lie to Luke, to trick him into killing his father because you believe there's no way to redeem him. And you didn't even try, so don't try to bullshit your way out of this. So why do you think he can be redeemed? What, because he didn't kill younglings? He probably killed a lot of people in the name of the Tusken Raiders when he took over as their leader. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, Dark Krayt, he's a very popular character, especially in just Stupendous Wave. He said that's his favorite Sith Lord of all time. Which should say something, like, in the same universe with Kreia, Darth Revan, and Darth Sidious, Darth Vader, Bane, it's like, wow, if Darth Krayt is really that good, then, wow, if he's getting the Stupendous Wave to praise him a lot, then yeah, that's gotta say something. And Cade Skywalker, he just cracks jokes like, oh, speaking of dialogue, yeah, there's a lot of slang in this story. Not real world slang like that other canon they made up with Yo Mama jokes and crank calls. No, they use slang that fits the Star Wars universe. And even cursed in certain parts that don't say the F-bomb. Yeah, some people might find that annoying, but honestly, I just feel like, well, Cade Skywalker is working with a bunch of bounty hunter and pirates, so yeah, they're probably gonna have a sailor's mouth. And yeah, and Cade Skywalker, yeah, he just cracks jokes. Along with Dark Krayt's backstory as a Jedi, we learn how he became the eventual Sith Lord that he was, especially being captured and tortured by the Yuuzhan Vong when he had returned from Korriban. Yeah, apparently he was in there for God knows how many years, learning from the holocron, so I'm curious how he ate, but he'll probably just say, it's the Force! The Force fed me! So, yeah, anyways. It's also revealed that Dark Krayt had hoped to recruit Lumina, Dark Lady of the Sith, but she had not joined up with him. Instead, she took her time to work with Darth Caedus, the former Jacen Solo, as part of their own attempt to conquer the galaxy. However, Dark Krayt did not interfere because, well, I could benefit from this. They're taking their time, distracting people and whatnot. And, yeah, this led to a distraction. Like, Jacen Solo, the events that what happened actually involves Darth Caedus revealing that, thinking that this is the threat he's going to deal with. Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, he kind of helped cause this, so yeah, thanks for assisting the Sith Lord to conquer the galaxy again, Jacen. You were clearly a good person for this in your quest for peace. Yeah. Also, along with this, we get another major character from New Jedi Order showing up in a flashback sequence. That person that looks like a bird, a cross between a bird and whatnot, with the extremely large beak, Vergarian. I'm not going to try to pronounce it, and I don't want to say something that makes it sound weird. It's revealed that she tortured Krayt and through the embrace of pain, which he does to Cad when he still doesn't seem to fall to the dark side, because he does join up with them for a little bit, but it's revealed to be a deceptive lie. And yeah. And yeah, there's also yeah. So how would I explain this more? Yeah, this is not going so well with the galaxy, and the Imperial Knights are still fighting. Yeah, one of the Imperial Knights, I'm trying to find his name. I'm still studying this. What was his name again? Where was it? Antares Draco, who is who is the leader of the Imperial Knights, and is also madly in love with Ron Fell's daughter. Yeah, that's not gonna end well, I bet. Also, we also meet yeah, yeah. How do I explain this? We also meet Cade Skywalker's mother in this storyline. Yeah, and we even get a flashback that she left the family. However, yeah, they broke up. They broke up because he didn't want to go ahead and deal with this whole because she had a loyalty to the Empire and whatnot. So, yeah. Also, we even get character development with the two crew members of Cade Skywalker, Dila Rue and Jahar Sen. Yeah, about how they knew about Cade Skywalker and whatnot, and I really liked it. Ooh boy, it's just chaotic. And Ron Fell, I loved his chapter where he actually stands up and actually fights instead of just being that emperor who sits on his chair acting like a complete dumbass because poor ignorance is clearly the best way to write a villain. Yeah. But, yeah, there was one thing I did also have a problem with the covers. A lot of the covers were good, especially Cade Skywalker holding a red lightsaber and being in shadows. But there were some covers I was like, it kind of goes to the uncanny valley a little bit for me. Especially when it's completely CGI'd, and I was like, why is this CGI'd? Why are the covers CGI'd? That just really makes me confused. So, yeah, I'm still heavily confused on that. Moving on. So, yeah, also, Cade Skywalker and Darth Talon make out when she's giving her backstory along with Darth Creditmore. And I'm just thinking like, okay, does he even actually have feelings for her? I'm just confused. Yeah, so Darth Credit not only does he sees him as a possible heir, as the first 19 issues were suggesting when he found out about Cade Skywalker, but yeah, he seeks Cade Skywalker for his powerful ability to heal people from near death, and believes that this could cure him of his current state with the Yuzon Vong's growth formula that's in him and making that corrupted armor of his. Yeah, he's able to take off the helmet. I still don't get that. Yeah, and we actually get a proper explanation as to why he's why he is alive now. He was put in stasis for 100 or so years, came out every few times, probably at best, because it is mentioned he does have a role in the whole Fate of the Jedi series. But, yeah. And, yeah, also, there's one hilarious scene for me, at least, other than Cade Skywalker's foul-mouthed language, is when one of the diplomats are talking about an alliance against the Sith Empire. One guy just says, "There's nothing to talk about, so fuck you," and proceeds to leave. And then Ron Fell's ambassador basically says, "We have taken the Bastion." And then, like, after a moment of silence, he was like, "Okay, let's talk business. I'm sure we have a lot to discuss." And I was like, "Okay, that's actually kind of Star Wars to me." So, yeah. And I do believe this is just... Yeah, and their alliance almost was proposed, and however that fails miserably for one simple fact. The Sith got a hold and managed to disrupt the meeting. So that doesn't end well. And actually cause more distrust. So Darth Krayt is more inclined to go ahead and be a bastard. Oh boy. And yeah, I did love this. Following this, we actually do get a duel between Cade and Darth Krayt, and it actually goes pretty well, and he actually uses psychological warfare, something that's forbidden in the Jedi Order, at least. Yeah, and yeah, he basically gives into his anger more because his eyes turn red. Yeah, they're normally yellow, but it seems that this is it seems like his eyes were yellow, so they're just mixing in more. That's just my guess. Also, near the end, where Cade Skywalker makes his escape and he leaps off a building to be rescued, yeah, he even says after he's caught by one of his by Shun, he says this: son of a Mugok. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that horribly wrong. I am not good with Star Wars language. Sue me. But yeah, it's a derogatory spacer term. Yeah, and the Epic Collection, and even that was explained in issue 0, which was just supplement material. It talks about this legacy era. And Darth Krayt is now in desperation mode a little bit at the end of issue 19 after Cade Skywalker's escape, as in he basically is pissed off and demands, find him, bring him here, I need to get cured. And yeah, that's not going to end well, we all know that, but yeah, the first 19 issues, they were pretty awesome for me. Like, I probably haven't, since I haven't read this stuff in a long time, and I wasn't really much reading of the Legacy era, because at that point, when I had learned of all this stuff, Disney had taken over and killed off everything. But, and I wasn't much of a massive comic book fan. I would read comics sporadically, but the MCU kind of brought me back into this, and Star Wars. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. Star Wars has this thing that made me say that this was better than Marvel or DC's comics, because Star Wars actually had something. The passage of time. Characters age, they grow up after time goes on for them, leading to new stories and ideas, waiting for a new generation to take over, and the characters eventually passing away. Whereas in DC and Marvel, the characters are either stuck at their ages until they're either killed off or sent into a possible alternative future that will never be explored again. That's the thing I feel like it had over Star Wars comics had over Marvel and DC. When Disney took all this 40-year continuity away, my passion for the comic stuff that was growing kind of dwindled, and I just couldn't take it. It was like giving up on something. Like, I was reading at the time, I think, the Old Republic era comics that were detailing the history of the Old Republic video game that was going on when it was coming out, and they were building it up. After that, everything just fell apart with Disney taking over. Also, I kind of got annoyed a little bit. I do get confused with the tagline they put it. Head far into the future long ago. Yeah, when exactly is all these stories being told? Because clearly they keep saying head far into the future long ago. So how far into the future is these stories being told? Like, in George Lucas's mind, R2-D2 is the one telling these stories. And in fact, R2-D2 is even in this story. So that's saying something. So, yeah, is it R2-D2 and his memory just gets transferred over to another R2 unit every time? Yeah. So, those were my thoughts on the first 19 issues of the Legacy comics. I probably missed a bunch of parts. I was trying to go over a more basic overview so I don't make over an hour-long video on this. But I will say that there are some moments in the later issues that I plan to read again when I finally get Legacy Volume 2 when I can. But there are like Darth Warlock. Yeah, he has a big event coming soon. Something that involves Dark Krayt and the future of the one Sith regime. So, yeah, I can't wait to do that. Soon I'll be discussing more about all the other comic events of the Star Wars Expanded Universe of Legends. My one major gripe with the Epic Collection Marvel does is that they don't give credit to Dark Horse Comics making it. Sure, they say the artists and the writers who did this, but they never say where they actually worked at. That's my major problem with these trade paperbacks of the Epic Collection. Yes, I still buy them, but at the same time, I just wonder, just give them credit. I heard that Dark Horse and Marvel don't really like each other. I don't know why. Probably has to do over Star Wars or past business relationships. But at the very least, they could just give them credit and just say that, yeah, although we own the license, we didn't make these comics. That's kind of my philosophy what Disney's operating with. Like, they'll take something from the old canon and wedge it and mix it up and say, we made this. No one else made this. We, Disney, made this. It's not like this was made decades before we bought Star Wars or anything. That would be ridiculous. But I did love a lot of the characters on here. We actually get more humanity with more of these characters, especially the Stormtroopers. Yeah, I love the development of Cade Skywalker so far in this. Darth Talon is pretty awesome. Darth Krayt is pretty freaking awesome. Yeah, and considering how he's going to be in the Clone Wars stories, yeah, he's around for a long time considering how long he is. But there is one question I've always wondered. The Jedi being always strict over the whole parent and child and attachments. Why is a Shard Hut, why does he even exist? And no, I don't mean like he's a bad character. I mean like, why does he know who his dad is? The Jedi Order forbid attachments and they go ahead and take children as informal kidnapping. Because his dad's the Jedi Master? Is that it? So he was allowed to know? So does that mean Anakin's just not as special? He's just the chosen one and they just hate his guts? Yeah, that just always bugged me a little bit about that. Like, yeah, this future Sith Lord is the son of a Jedi, but they're able to work together. He's even learned from his dad, and they were still part of the Jedi Order and not kicked out. So either the Jedi are lying to themselves and saying all this legal bullshit that makes no sense, or they had for some reason made a deal with him, which is still hypocritically stupid. It only paints the Jedi as idiots. But that's just my opinion on the old Jedi Order. By the way, they did cause more problems for the future Jedi Order and the future of the galaxy by creating Darth Krayt, specifically Obi-Wan, because he should have just finished the job. He asked for it. So, yeah. Especially considering everyone was all for killing Darth Vader and saw no sign of redemption in him. So, why doesn't he do the same with Darth Krayt? So, yeah. But, like I said, these first 19 issues, they were pretty awesome. I loved them. I can't wait to go ahead and read up on the other parts of Volume 2 when I get it. But those are right now my thoughts on Star Wars Legacy Volume Chapters, Issues 1 through 19, and if you by count, Issue 0, which is just supplement material. So, those were my thoughts on Star Wars Legacy's issues, Star Wars Epic Collection of Star Wars Legends, Legacy Era Volume 1. This was Near Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to for more.